folks. It's uncensored, longer, and uncut. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, whatever time of day you are watching. This is the Big Real Wrestling YouTube channel where we make sure annoying plastic noises are being played in the background. I am the Storyteller Alex Braddock. Joining me as always,
I am just the cameraman 3, Dylan Gilbert. Too many gimmicks for no gimmick needed guy.
Folks, let's talk about it.
Oh.
It's a hot take hangout. And while we're taking a hot take, sometimes life gives you lemons and you don't have time to make lemonade, so you just bite into them bitches. And that's currently what we're doing. We're going to talk about the current state of wrestling because we figured it's the easiest thing to talk about and
really
press
is.
record and just go. You may be wondering what started this conversation. Folks, last night was none other than NXT. Mariah May has made her debut. Yet another WWE signing, but let's not forget that 3 days ago we had the official releases of Carlito and R-Truth.
The R-Truth one was like, you can tell you screwed up when they're having to tell talent not to wear the person's shirt on Raw. And you can also tell you screwed up when CM Punk has to go out and address a "We Want Truth" chant.
Yeah.
When you send CM Punk, the guy who they did that chant for years, out to address the, hey guys, please don't chant the name of a person that's not here anymore thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's, woof.
Man, it's a rough subject, right? Like more and more people every day are pulling the card of, they shouldn't have released this person. They shouldn't have released this. I mean, crap. I'll pull the card. They shouldn't have released Truth.
No.
Because we are sitting here talking about a person that was on a technically pay-per-view / PLE 2 weekends ago.
He had one of the top selling shirts currently.
Yes.
Like right now, as of him being released, he has one of their top selling shirts.
Right. And
he's a viral moment machine in a company that thrives on viral moments. Like,
yes.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's rough because you have people claiming that WWE's at the top of their game. I'll keep my mouth shut about that comment. And you have these releases going on, you have signings going left, right, and center, and I get that this place is a top company, but at what point do you look at it and you go, maybe, just maybe, the people in charge are not doing what they need to do?
I think it was Sean Ross Sapp I saw put out that it seems like since TKO has taken over, more and more of these decisions that don't make sense have been happening.
Yeah.
And it really, I guess from a business standpoint, you call someone up, so you're paying them more money, so you get rid of somebody else. But at the same time, I never want to be the guy that's like, well, why wasn't it this person? Or that, because you never want anyone to lose their job.
Yeah.
So doing the whole, well, why is it not this person? Right. But there's a lot of fodder backstage that you could have trimmed off and not just dropped off somebody that meant so much to the locker room. Yeah. Which I guess, business is business, yeah. But at the same time, the only shred of hope that I'm holding on to is this is all part of Cena's "I'm ruining wrestling" shtick. But
and if that's the case, amazing. If this is story,
we've all been worked.
We've all been worked.
Great.
Freaking Ron Killings is great at the business.
And Ron Killings is great at the business. And I think selfishly, I hope he, my wife said, I hope he goes to AEW. I was like, I hope he goes to the independents.
Yeah. Selfishly,
because I would love a chance to just work with the dude, be in the same room, and just take in the energy that dude puts out, because he's great at what he does.
Right. I mean that's the other thing, right? Let's talk about the snuffing of the independents, if you would, folks. I'm just going to preface and say, the world is what it is.
The indies are fine.
I am in a mindset right now. If you don't like my opinion, don't like my opinion. You don't need to talk shit about me. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Is WWE snuffing out the independents?
I don't think they're snuffing out the independents, but I do think the ID program is not what I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
I really hope that, like, especially, Mania Week, man, you've got, like, the ID tournament, and you've got guys that are getting brought in, like, Atticus Cogar's one. I never thought I would see a WWE logo next to that guy's name. And I thought it was fantastic. I'm like, all right, here we go. This is going to shine a spotlight on people. And then so far, I mean, I haven't seen Mathers do as much on the indies as he was doing before, and, like, he was lighting it up. Yeah. And I think putting them on Evolve is great.
Yeah.
But I think you're taking a lot of talent that were doing a bunch of these bookings,
yeah,
and we're all over the place, and you gave them that boost, and then I feel like now I don't see any of them as much.
Part of me wonders if if the WWE ID situation is a situation created by WWE in order to pay superstars less and have an excuse to do so. Let's just take, I have no personal attachment, I've never met the man a day in my life. Let's just take Sean Legacy for example. Sean Legacy is one of the top WWE ID guys that they have right now. This man is going on the indies and wrestling in the WWE ID tournaments, is doing this. He's also being booked on Evolve, pretty much every episode of Evolve. And now he's being used on NXT and potentially used on Worlds Collide. I haven't really been paying attention to that storyline. Yeah. But this man is now essentially an NXT superstar that's allowed to wrestle indie dates.
Which is, I think, how it should be.
It's how it should be. But then you look at it and you go, is this just an excuse to keep this man out of other independent promotions?
Or, I'll say flip side, usually I'm the negative one here, but I'll say flip side. Is it a thing where it's like, hey man, we're going to book you for these few things, and then between that, like, you're not going to be on SmackDown next week. Yeah. You're probably going to have a month where you're not doing anything, so go get your indie dates.
And that could be a thing. And they understand that
if that's how they're doing it, great.
Yeah, Backstage has a roster that's just sitting there. That's fine.
Well,
hey, we want to sign you, but we don't have the time for you. So here's what we're going to do. Every now and then we're going to book you on this, that, and the other. So be it. If that's the case, great. But from a half glass empty perspective, that's what it looks like. It looks like Sean Legacy is just a not NXT superstar.
Well, and I think, like, I hate to use AEW as the example for this because they've done it and then they've not done it and they've done it again and not done it again. But look at, like, what they were doing with Danhausen, right? Hey, we don't have anything for you. Run wild in GCW, man. Go book go get yourself booked everywhere. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. And then Ricky Starks was like, they did that whole in and out thing with him, and now clearly it worked out better for him now that he's in NXT, and it sounds like potentially getting called up. But why are companies not doing that more? Like, hey, I've got nothing for you right now. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Go do some other spots, and it's not like you're gonna go back to your old indie name or whatever. It's gonna be AEW superstar Danhausen or WWE ID talent Sean Legacy. Like, you're pushing that company, but you're also putting that person in a spot where they're getting reps, they're getting time, they're learning more,
right? And
they're staying in shape and they're staying ring ready for you.
Right.
It would make the most sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a weird time. I will say that it's weird to look at all of this and to look at it and go, we play both sides of the coin. We play both positive and negative. Right. We play WWE, we play AEW. We play non-independents and independents because we work the independents. It's really just the point of the Hot Take Hangout is to talk about both sides of things. Just most of the time I'm in a funk and I want to stick to one side and Dylan has to play the other.
Yeah.
And so, yes, WWE is signing all these people. Let's talk about the most frequent of them if we can. Here, you know what? Screw it. I'll pull up the list.
He's pulling the list.
I'll pull up the list. Since January 2024, Jacob Fatu, MCMG, Motor City Machine Guns, Julia, Stephanie Vicker, Naomi, Ethan Page, Jordan Grace, Andrade, Zarya, Ricky Starks, Jade Cargill, and Mariah May as of 2 days ago.
Mariah August, Mariah September. We haven't heard her name yet. It's probably
Mariah Ricky marched straight to the upper card.
She will too. She's too damn good.
Folks, I'm not saying these people aren't being used, but also you have talent that's not being used.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
I think that's where the releases are coming from. But then I turn around and I say, you had somebody on a pay-per-view 2 weeks ago and you just released them because you... I'll not talk about the dirt sheets.
Well, I mean, you've got somebody that was on a pay-per-view 2 weeks ago and you release them, and you don't release any of these talent you haven't used in a year plus that are probably begging to go to TNA, to go to the independents, to go to Japan, to go to AEW, to go somewhere else. Yeah. And, you know, like when I used to work in the plants, it felt like if you wanted overtime, you weren't going to get it. And if you didn't want it, you were going to get all the overtime you could take. And it feels like that situation where it's like you have all these people that probably want to get let go. Look at like Brody Lee. He wanted to be out of that company so bad, and they held him under the thumb for so freaking long. Yeah. And I mean, like, what could have been, you know? Like, what could have been if he had that year of change to go and do and create? Yeah. And, like, I get that it's competition and it's a business, but at the same time, why hold on to somebody that doesn't want to be there when you've got so many other people that want to be there?
Right.
You know, like, the rumor, of course, it seems the most plausible thing. Mariah May, the reason she went to WWE, she came to AEW, she accomplished everything she wanted to, and her dream was always to go to WWE. So how do you fault someone for that?
I don't fault anybody.
You ran through and you had banger matches. You put on one hell of a storyline, and now you get to go fulfill your dream somewhere else. Yeah. Who could fault you for that? Yeah. You know.
Let's take Stephanie McCurry. Stephanie McCurry was the same situation. She was handed both opportunities and said, I've always wanted to go to WWE, so I'm going there. And not only that, but she was given a main roster position, and she said, nope, I'm going to NXT because I want to learn. I want to learn how to do this stuff. And we're not faulting people for going to the company by getting signed.
No.
We're not faulting the people that got released because it's not their fault if they were sitting on their asses. And really and truly, we're not even faulting WWE. Let's be real. At this moment in time, I don't even think I'm faulting WWE. I just think it's shitty situations.
Yeah.
And it's business. That's the other suck thing, is that this is just money. It is money floating around, doing what it needs to do, and it sucks.
Yeah, I just, you know, I think, like you said, it's a weird time right now where, like, I love both companies, but I have not watched Raw in a few weeks. I'm probably going to be 2-3 weeks without watching Dynamite. Like, and I wouldn't say that I'm falling out of love with wrestling because, like, we just worked a bunch of shows this month where every time I walked out of the building, I was like, I freaking love this. Like, it's one of those things. Like, there's hot periods and cold periods, and I feel like we're in that space between, like, Double or Nothing and All In. We're in that space between Mania and SummerSlam, and there's just this kind of, like, there's a dip before it does this.
Yeah, I feel like there's multiple times a year where the indies are hot and TV is not, and that flips a whole lot throughout the year. Where you look at even things that are being streamed online. I mean, I haven't been keeping up with GCW, but I'm sure GCW is hot right now.
GCW's been doing some stuff that I've really enjoyed, and, you know, I'm noticing, too, companies that I have not paid attention to as much as I normally do, like Combat Zone, CZW. Ricky Shane Page is back in Combat Zone, and if you know deathmatch wrestling at all, that's how crazy that is, because, like, he left CZW to go to GCW, and it was a huge, like, paradigm shift that all these people left. Yeah. And now they're starting to trickle back. Like, Nick Gage is back there, Ricky Shane Page is back. Like, it's big. The 440 guys are showing back up, and, like, that is a huge deal. Yeah. And, you know, say what you will about deathmatch wrestling, but you've got a bunch of guys right now that are capable of storytelling. Ricky Shane Page, he carried GCW through 2020. Yeah. The story he told with 440 and being the most hated man on the independents and being, like, this big evil that when Gage could finally come back and take the title off of and everything, like, it was this huge cathartic moment. Yeah. Wrestling is, like, it's not always just what's on TV, what's on, like, cable, Netflix, whatever. Man, that in a building somewhere in this country, banger matches are happening.
Yep.
Every weekend.
Even on a Wednesday. Probably.
Yeah.
I
think Beyond runs on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
You could probably, and if you can't do it on a Wednesday, Thursday or Friday,
Thursday,
Definitely
Friday.
Saturday.
Definitely Saturday.
Maybe Sunday.
Going back to RSP for a second,
Uh-oh.
super underrated wrestler. Here in the future, we're going to be doing a underrated wrestler Mount Rushmore. And when we say underrated wrestlers, we mean underrated unsigned wrestlers. We need to talk about that later.
Yes.
But yeah, man, I think we can move past the WWE signee situation. I don't even want to talk about the state of AEW because we're just going to mark out for a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we haven't watched Dynamite in forever.
Well, and Matt Cardona said this on the Major Pod, and it's something that I truly believe he's 100% right on. You don't have to watch every second of every show to know what's going on.
Exactly.
And I know what's going on because I stay up on socials, I stay up on clips the next day, stuff like that. So I know where the storylines are.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just like I don't have that fire to watch, especially tonight with Fighter Fest, 4 hours. And I'm sure I'm going to see a bunch of clips, and tomorrow I'll be sitting in my house watching the episode back. But,
yeah. I'm sure it'll be, we need to watch this match, and this match.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Sometimes you can't watch the full 2 hour, 4 hour extravaganza that it is, so you kind of have to go back and watch matches. But, yeah, man, let's talk indie wrestling for a second, because we mentioned it earlier. The indies are hot.
I think so.
We have been a part of, 3 matches in the month of May? I 3 matches. Let's say 3 shows. I wrestled twice in the month of May.
I think I've filmed somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-something matches in the last month.
Yeah, it was nuts. Every match, every show was hot. Whether it was Mississippi, whether it was Louisiana, or it was Mississippi again, but a Florida company that was working in Mississippi.
Or even a couple weeks, or like a few weeks before that was Florida, in Florida, and then we bounced around.
We have bounced around going, I am not a traveling man. I am not claiming that I am a traveling indie guy. I'm just saying.
Just not a 40-miler either. Somewhere in the middle.
But the indies are hot. We are experiencing, we are not lying when we say we have left all of these shows going, man, that crowd was something. Mm-hmm. The show that we put on and those guys put on was phenomenal. Hopefully in the near future we could be going as fans or spectators to a few other companies. But dude, it is a great time to be an indie wrestling fan, because all you got to do is just type in pro wrestling on Facebook, and most of the time, a local company pops up.
And if they're not local to your area, there's a good chance that they have a YouTube product, or they're on like an IWTV or a title match or something like that. I mean, hell, 225 Unleashed, I've seen comments where like people are watching us from the UK.
Yeah.
We're filming stuff in Houma, Louisiana that's getting watched in the UK. Usually it's the other way around. Like, right. I'm sitting here in Baton Rouge watching Progress, and there's people that have Progress right there that are watching us.
Right.
And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Indie wrestling is insane, and my hope is it is not getting snuffed out. My opinion is maybe smaller TV companies are kind of not getting snuffed out necessarily, but kind of getting caged in. But small indie promotions that don't have that opportunity, I don't want it to be a situation of, well, I'm not liking what the WWE has going on right now, so I'm definitely not going to like what's happening in a local gym down the road. Well, because that could not be further from the truth.
And you look at, I always put 225 as like the example because that's home for us. But like if you look at 225, you've got guys you can tell are New Japan fans. You've got guys you can tell are WWE and AEW fans. You can tell that they are fans of WCW and NWA and the classics. And you can see in the different talent we have in that building. You're not getting 20 guys that are doing the exact same thing. Everybody's got their own flair on the character, or the way that they wrestle, or the way they work a crowd, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so to say, like, well, I don't like what's going on in this company, like, cool, walk into one of these, because you might see one match that looks like that, and you'll probably see 7 that don't.
Yeah.
You know?
And don't base one locals promotions show to the rest of them. If you see one promotion and you're not the biggest fan of the show, don't just say, oh, well, that was in Louisiana, so therefore all Louisiana shows are going to be bad. Or this show was in Wyoming, and therefore all Wyoming shows are going to be bad. That is not the case. Yes, most of the time, the same wrestlers work the same companies, but not the same booker, not the same boss.
Well,
it's completely different people. It's completely different rant.
One that you'll see the same people, but you'll see them work different ways.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've gone to one company, a guy is the big evil, and you go to the next one, they're cheering for him.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun dynamic to see like how guys work different areas.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good time.
Look, as much as I'm not gonna say burned out on TV wrestling, but like I'm in a lull on TV wrestling, but I'm about to edit an entire combat sport pro show that I could not be more excited to sit down and watch.
It's gonna be good.
Because that was a great show.
That was a fun one. Stay tuned to the things. We'll make sure we post when those get out, when Dylan gets done editing. Do you got anything else to talk about, bud?
So I'm looking at the time. I think I can keep it under.
Okay.
While we're still talking about the independents, specifically, this comment was made about deathmatch wrestling, but I think it's one of those things that kind of you could carry across the board. Joey Janela, who I am a fan of, I really like Joey Janela. But he said something about how modern deathmatch is dying because everything's been done before. And when I first heard it, I was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense because they're like, guys are doing some of the same stuff. But I also, like, you look at it, every wrestling match, they're doing moves that have been done 1,000 times before.
Yeah.
Every wrestling match has been done before.
Yeah.
Every wrestling move has been done before. Every spot has been done before.
Yeah.
But I think what a lot of the deathmatch stuff is lacking right now is that story, is that like RSP Nick Gage feud where it's a blood feud and they're playing this chess game with like guys turning and joining factions and moving in and out and like taking the violence to a level that it's meaningful. I mean, we'll use that combat show, man. Like how many times have we seen people do dives out of balcony? And not that it's not dangerous, not that it's not amazing. How many times have you seen it? Yeah. But Ray Fury dives off that balcony and that whole room goes crazy because you have him in a situation where he's up against Vladimir Koloff and Nightmare Jeremiah, both trying to take the title off of him.
Huge shout out to all three of those guys.
All three amazing.
All three great guys.
But you're taking a like, well, that spot's been done before. Yeah, it's been done 1,000 times.
Yeah,
that moment.
Anytime you walk into a building with a high place, and just bet on the fact that somebody is going to jump off of it. I could list you names on the guaranteed people in the South that would jump off of it.
Right. But just because it's been done before doesn't mean you can't make it impactful.
Right.
Because when that moment happened, I mean, the room shook, man. Like, just that cop out of like, well, it's all been done before, so like, it's hard to keep it. It's like, no, man, tell a story. Yeah. Get people invested.
Right.
Bring something to the table besides just the violence of it. Make me care. Yeah. And the violence means 1,000 times more.
Absolutely.
Watching you take some of the stuff that I've seen 20 times makes me like jolt a little bit because like this is my friend now that's taking this. There's stakes. Like I care about this person. Yeah. So when you get power bombed on the apron,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I jolt back a little bit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You will soon.
That didn't affect me at all. Folks, I think we say it just about every other episode of the Victory Roll. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
It really is.
Whether you are a WWE guy, AEW, Indies, New Japan, TNA, Pro Wrestling 225, whatever you want to pull, it's a great time to be a fan. It's a great time to be a camera guy, to be an editor, to be a pro wrestler. There's opportunity everywhere, no matter where you go, no matter what the state of the business is. Because the business is doing this at all points in time. It's a wild roller coaster ride.
At its highest and its lowest, it's doing this.
It's at its highest and its lowest at all points in time. That's the fact of life.
Schrodinger's business.
It is Schrodinger's business. It is fluid motion. It's wrestling. And it's what we love about it. Whether it's story or violence or whatever the crap, we love professional wrestling. And sometimes we just come on here and rant about it because that's what happens sometimes.
You can love something and still get annoyed with it.
You
do
can
it all the time.
Still get annoyed with it and then turn right back around in 15 minutes and go watch the best of Super Juniors. So, folks, stay tuned for more content. More content is coming. We just sometimes get busy and then we sit down and rant for a while. I think the past 3 videos have been nothing but rants.
Pretty much.
And we're sorry for that. More content is coming. We have a lot lined up. We just have to find a day to do it and record it. But more content is coming, so make sure if you saw this and you loved it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If there's a notification bell, hit it because more content is coming. Check out Victory Roll Games because more content is coming for that. Stay tuned on Facebook and all the social medias because we will be posting these videos. We will be posting Dylan as a big shout out for him editing all the stuff. Folks, I've been Storyteller Alex Braddock.
I've been Dylan Gilbert.
And whether it's been a good morning, good afternoon, a good evening, or good night, just watch pro wrestling because it's awesome.
Counterpoint? Maybe we should just quit the business.
This is going to be a continuing